Welcome back to the program, everybody. Welcome back to another show. Welcome back to another episode. Good morning or good afternoon to all of my viewers, listeners, and Soul Tribe family. The name of this program is called It's a Conspiracy, But It Ain't No Theory. It's a Conspiracy, But It Ain't No Theory is a non-profit social service agency suicide prevention campaign servicing the needs of families and foster children at risk, lending my voice to help raise awareness by soft publishing a book trilogy called Lucy's Lair. Lucy's Lair is a graphic novel based on true events following my life as a freelance artist. This program is intended to help encourage, heal, and empower survivors of cancel culture and rape culture, providing free information regarding child abuse, sexual assault, domestic violence, electronic harassment, gang stalking, conspiracy, and true organized hate crimes, collective and covert, against humanity. Your company can help by providing funds in a grant or by donating goods and services as I continue delivering this information and evidence to the public and advocating for foster children in need. Thank you in advance for all of your support. On today's episode, I am going to be discussing gang stalking, occult ritual stalking, hypersimulation theory, covert psychological operations, black ops, plus surviving the New World disorder per usual, surviving manufactured chaos, surviving manufactured karma, spelled with a C, surviving white genocide, and surviving the electronic targeting Holocaust. On today's episode, I am going to be discussing gang stalking, occult ritual stalking, hypersimulation theory, covert psychological operations, plus surviving the New World disorder per usual, surviving the New World War, surviving manufactured chaos, surviving manufactured karma, spelled with a C, surviving white genocide, and surviving the electronic targeting Holocaust. My name is Adrienne Alese. I'm the author and creator of a book trilogy called Lucy's Lair Part 1, 2, and now 3. Lucy's Lair is a book trilogy reflecting my life as a survivor of rape culture, child sex trafficking, and psychological gas chambers. On this program, I advocate for women's rights, basic human rights, and the rights of those disabled. I also advocate on behalf of the foster children in the CPS system, orphans, single mothers, foster mothers, and those less fortunate. Targeted individuals or trafficked victims are predominantly women. 65 to 70% of targeted individuals or trafficked victims are white American women or those who identify as such. This makes gang stalking an illegal operation or hate crime that is sexually and politically motivated towards American women and their children. This program is a dedication to the targeted individual community. Chapter 18, Overview of Harassment Methods Used by FBI's COINTELPRO Operation Gladio, Covert Community Recruits, and Stay Behind Armies, or Instruction Manual for Community Gang Stalkers. And I'm going to be picking up right where I left off, and I left off on Part 8, so that's the part I'm going to be covering today. Chapter 18, Overview of Harassment Methods Used by FBI's COINTELPRO, Operation Gladio, Covert Community Recruits, and Stay Behind Armies, or Instruction Manual for Community Gang Stalkers. Part 8, Targets Home. Punishing the target at the target's home is essential for effectiveness of Secret Service operations. All right, so picking up right where I left off in Chapter 18, this is going to be Part 8, Target's Home. Punishing the target at the target's home is essential for effectiveness of Secret Service operations. Let's see here. If the target were punished in the IP community, but was allowed sanctuary in their home, the creation of a, quote, prison without walls would not be complete. One of the very first things the control center will arrange is for homes or apartments adjacent to the target's home to be occupied by both community-based agents and members in the Electronic Operations Manual. Because operations are carried out 24/7 in shifts, homes and apartments which are leased or owned by staff are not used as dwellings. So this is how dirty they actually are. The lease or deed will bear either an entirely false name. Be careful of people who bear an entirely false name. Or the name of a senior staff member whose actual home will be at a different location. Some adjacent homes or apartments are occupied by neighbors of the target who have offered to cooperate in the punishment of the target. The initial contact of neighbors to determine their willingness to cooperate is done by senior staff, and incentives to cooperate are often tendered. So in the relationship, sex with the honeypot and porn become the incentive. So they're actually grooming him so that he'll abuse me on the behalf of the rape culture. Here are some commonly used punishment activities which are carried out both by CBAs, community-based agents, and cooperating neighbors of the target. Activities are rotated among the choices, but at least one of them is applied daily. Noise. Noise must be the type which the general public deems, quote, normal. Remember that the goal is to have the target aware that they are being punished, or tortured, rather I should say, but not be able to convince anyone else that that is the case. Observe local noise curfews, but plenty of punishment can occur outside noise curfew time. The target must not have easy cause to involve law enforcement. Examples: start leaf blower times precisely when the target attempts to enjoy their yard, or when EC Electronic Corp operators cue the CBA that the target is trying to nap. Loud music from neighboring home. This is an excellent action as it is common. Time it so every time the target opens a window, the music starts. The timing makes it a point that it is intentional punishment. EC Electronic Corp still fighting to be relevant. Operators can apply music in adjacent apartments with exceptionally powerful basses directed at the target's unit. Frequent squealing of tires near the target's home. In apartments, frequent drilling into a scrape of wood or masonry held against the target's walls, floors, or ceiling as if, quote, working. Alternatively, hammering, especially effective when cued by Electronic Corp operators that the target is attempting to nap. This causes sleep deprivation. Tossing golf or tennis balls against the target's home when the target is known to be trying to fall asleep, ideal for cooperating neighborhood children. Frequent use of sirens near the target's home. There's a massive cover-up and a conspiracy around these ambulance and emergency service employees. Many emergency services employees have a strong sense of community service and a willingness to cooperate in this, or by people posing as Jehovah's Witnesses. Knocking on the door for frivolous reasons, nonsensical wrong address reasons, especially effective when the target is in bed or having a meal or in the shower, on the toilet, or having sex. Trash. Leave trash in the target's yard frequently, But control center staff will assist in scheduling this so that the target can't quite have a case on which law enforcement will act. Terrifying the target's pet. This requires entry while the target is away from their home for an extended period and must be scheduled by control center. Electronic corpse EC operators can render a dog or cat passive for safe entry of the community-based agents by electromagnetic beam. Wounding or killing the target's pet, rarely used, scheduled when the target has acted in a way so as to deserve special punishment, like divulging the name of a criminally acting secret agent. Lock them up. Where the target owns substantial land, obnoxious activities can be arranged and built for next to the property. In one case, a dump, an auto racetrack, and a prison were built adjacent to the target, who owned a large farm in an area of natural beauty. While this is rare, it does illustrate commitment to delivering punishment to those, quote, deserving of it. The only one deserving of punishment, torture, and murder are the ones participating in these death cult rituals. So last week I went over part 7, which was the trade-related punishment. Cooperating police departments can visibly watch the target's home, possibly being parked in front of the home when the target returns repeatedly. Again, I don't sell drugs, so there really is no need for this. Police officers who refused to take complaint of harassment and sabotage of the target, who they label, quote, disturbed. Okay. The only one that is, quote, disturbed are those who participate in death cult rituals. Police officers who refuse to take complaints of harassment and sabotage of the target, who they label, quote, disturbed, really are not allowed to make diagnosis, as only medical doctors can do, but may get a raised price for their unlawfulness afterward. Lock them up. Police follow orders, an example by Stay Behind, secret military-led organization created by the CIA after World War II in NATO countries. I think people think I work for NATO. I absolutely do not. They give orders in secrecy to police, media, legal systems, judges, etc. So this is all one fat cover-up, one fat massive conspiracy, thus being above parliaments and governments as demonstrated. Alright, so that pretty much does it for Chapter 18, Part 8. As you can see, it will continue to go on, and it talks about NATO, and it talks about how they kidnap these individuals, these TIs. It talks about the NATO logo and Gladio 2, and how terrorism is dealt with secretly throughout the United States and other areas of the world, other countries, of course.